They thought she was alone. A small girl on a quiet country road. Easy prey. What they didn't know was that her loyal dog had once been trained to bring down armed criminals, and he hadn't forgotten a single command. Emily's sneakers made soft crunching sounds as they touched the gravel road. The park was just a short walk from her house, and Max, her golden fur dog, walked loyally beside her. The sky had turned a mellow orange, the kind that promised bedtime stories and warm milk. But tonight, the wind carried something different, something wrong. The first roar came from behind. Then another. Emily turned to see 2 motorcycles speeding toward her. Moments later, 3 more appeared, fanning out like a pack of wolves closing in on prey. The engine sputtered into silence as the bikers cut them off, stopping in a half-circle around her. Leather jackets, skull patches, helmets with tinted visors. They didn't speak at first, just stared. Emily clutched Max's leash, her small hand trembling. "Lost sweetheart?" One biker sneered, stepping off his ride. Another whistled mockingly. Pretty little thing to be out here alone. Emily didn't answer. Her lips quivered, but her eyes didn't leave them. Max stood in front of her now, not barking, not growling, just still, alert. One of the bikers reached into his jacket and pulled out something shiny. Not a weapon, but keys. He jingled them, stepping closer. "What's your name, little doll?" Emily whispered something under her breath, too soft for bikers to hear. Max's ears twitched. The tallest biker got impatient. "Grab her, man. We don't have all." Max let out a low, guttural growl. It was the first sound he'd made since they arrived. The biker paused. "What's wrong with your mutt?" Emily took a small step back, her hand brushing against Max's neck. Her fingers curled into a gesture. Deliberate, practiced. None of them noticed. A second later, Max lunged forward, not wild, not reckless, but with terrifying precision. He struck the closest biker in the leg, sending the man tumbling backward into the gravel, screaming. Another tried to move, but Max pivoted, snarling and snapping close enough to tear through denim. The laughter vanished. Now there was only confusion and fear. The circle was broken. But the storm had only just begun. The first man's scream echoed through the open field. Max had taken him down with one controlled bite to thigh, enough to incapacitate, not kill. The others froze, confused. It didn't make sense. This was just a dog, a family pet. But Max didn't act like any pet. He released his hold, eyes fixed on the next threat. His body was low, poised. He didn't bark, didn't make a sound. He moved like a shadow with teeth. "Shoot him!" One biker shouted, fumbling through his jacket. But Max was faster. He darted across the gravel and slammed into the man's knees, knocking him down with a brutal thud. The gun skittered across the road. Another biker raised a steel chain, swinging wildly. Max dodged, calculated, then lunged straight for the wrist. A sickening crunch followed. "Back off!" someone yelled, backing toward his bike. But it was too late to run. Max wasn't reacting randomly. He was prioritizing threats, one by one, like he'd been trained. Emily stood still in the chaos, her hand still raised in that same precise gesture. Her face showed no fear now, only trust, because she knew something the bikers didn't. Max wasn't just any dog. He had served 7 years on the force. Narcotics, takedown, search, and rescue. Retired only because of an injury, and because Emily's grandfather, his last handler, wanted him to live a peaceful life. That peace ended tonight. One of the remaining bikers managed to climb onto his bike and start the engine. Max's ears perked. His muscles coiled like a spring. "Max, stop!" Emily shouted suddenly, and he froze. Just like that, still as a statue. The biker, wide-eyed and trembling, sped off, gravel flying behind him. The other attackers writhed on the ground or limped away, bruised and bloodied. Not one of them dared to look back. Emily walked forward slowly and wrapped her arms around Max's neck. He panted softly, tail still, body alert. The moment hadn't passed yet, not for him. "You did good," she whispered. Max finally sat down. His eyes never left the horizon. Not until the sirens began to wail in the distance, red and blue lights cut through the growing twilight as police cruisers skidded to a stop on the gravel road. The remaining bikers, those who could still move, had already fled, leaving behind scattered chains, bloody jackets, and the smell of burnt rubber. Officers poured out, weapons drawn, unsure what they'd find. What they saw stunned them into silence. A little girl, standing calmly in the center of the road. A retired K9 dog, still sitting at alert by her side. "Emily?" one officer called out, recognizing the child. She nodded. "I'm okay." Max didn't let them touch me. The officer lowered his weapon and stepped closer, staring at the dog. "Max!" he repeated, puzzled. "Max, as in Officer Max?" Another officer approached, eyes narrowing at the dog's ears. He gently brushed aside the fur, and there it was. A faded tattoo, K9-274. A badge number from over a decade ago. "No way," the officer whispered. This dog brought down a cartel runner in 2016. Saved 2 hostages in a warehouse fire. That Max. Emily nodded again. He was my grandpa's partner. When Grandpa died, Max came to live with us. The officers exchanged stunned glances. "He's been retired for years," one muttered, "but he just activated, like muscle memory." Emily reached down and stroked Max's fur. He never forgot what he was taught. I just used Grandpa's signals. Max remembers everything. The paramedics treated the unconscious bikers scattered across the road. Some would need stitches. Others would be jailed. But the real story was already unfolding between the officers and the little girl with the dog who saved her. Later that night, one of the senior officers made a quiet call to dispatch. "Give me someone from the press and contact K9 services. We got something different out here. A retired dog just made an arrest. No, 6 arrests, and protected a child." When Emily and Max returned home that night, the town already knew. The story spread. A quiet hero had awoken, not for duty, not for glory, but because someone he loved was in danger. And love, Max proved, was the strongest command of all. True loyalty never retires. Even when time passes and roles change, love and training leave a lasting bond. In moments of danger, it's not the size or strength that matters, but courage, loyalty, and the silent instinct to protect those we love. Sometimes the fiercest protectors refer, and they never forget who they're fighting for.